leader and allegedly doing disservice to his office as the second in command, claiming his stance supporting the formula risks plunging the country into ethnic divisions. Joel Chacha has more.
Rigathi Gachagua is a believer and a proponent of one man, one vote, one shilling.
These sentiments by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua 2 weeks ago are now putting him on the firing end on the contentious revenue sharing formula he proposed, with leaders from 15 arid counties now scoffing at him.
Kwa nini leo amejiteremusha amekuwa kiongozi ya jimbo na sio kiongozi ya taifa? Iwapo anathibitisho hatoshi kukuwa kiongozi wa Kenya, then arudi kwa mlima Kenya awe governor huko, ataheshimika zaidi. Lakini Kenya hatoshi.
The recent remarks by the Deputy President Gachagua are a disservice to his role and fail to consider the broader implications for national cohesion and development.
It's untenable, it is unfair, it's unconstitutional, and it's one which will never happen in this country.
They argue that the Mount Kenya region is not vast compared to regions they hail from, and despite that it enjoys development to their detriment.
Central Kenya is a very small portion of this country. How unfair can you be to demand that you want the 100 million shillings of North Horr when you are benefiting from 30 constituencies in 13,000 square kilometers?
They further argue that their regions are populated, but underhand tactics have been used to lock them out deliberately from getting ID cards.
I think we are tired of this issue of no resources should go to Northern Kenya. We are tired. We want resources to go there because we are part and parcel of this country, and we are not taking it lying down.
For population, we have the population, but we cannot vote because we have been denied national identity cards, which is a requirement for registration as a voter.
They are now warning that such remarks from the second in command risk plunging the country into a political turmoil.
This line of thinking perpetuates ethnic supremacy, fosters self-entitlement, and promotes unwarranted denigration of certain populations, plunging the nation into a perpetual state of divisive political campaigning. This sentiment was starkly evident during the recent Limuru 3 conference, where participants openly asserted ownership of Kenya, as if the rest of us are guests.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
Well, it goes without saying that we are back at the same point we were in about 3 years ago when the Building Bridges Initiative document came out. One of the issues at the center of that document was the one man, one vote, one shilling. The only thing that has actually changed today is that some or a few of the people who were against that document are now pushing for the very same document on that contentious issue on the one man, one vote, one shilling. Joining me this evening is Ekwe Ethuro, the former Senate Speaker, as well as Wario Ali, the former Member of Parliament for Buda constituency, just to try and understand what we have at hand with this issue pertaining to the one man, one vote, one shilling. And let me just begin with you, Speaker. Of course, we're dealing with a super emotive issue, and I want to begin by making a reference to the opening statement in your press release, which said that we are deeply dismayed by this resurgence of this retrogressive ideology, which rests the unstable grounds of narrow political rhetoric and the misguided fragmentation of our republic. This backward approach propagated by state leaders and their proxies warrants unequivocal condemnation. Such politics has no place in modern Kenya. Now, those are very strong sentiments. Are you in any way worried that it sets some sort of negative precedence in the sense that it's either your way or the highway?
Yes, we are. Thank you for having us. We are concerned about the resurgence of this. We thought this thing was died with the BBI pronouncement by the judiciary. We also thought that this kind of sentiments cannot be entertained in the post-constitution of Kenya 2010, which made elaborate plans in terms of Chapter 4 on basic rights, as well as principles of public finance in Chapter 12, which talk about equitable development for an equitable society.
Okay, well, let me come to you, Wario. When you're looking at this, I mean, of course, it goes without saying that Chapter 12 stipulates the framework upon which we should share public resources. But then again, looking at it solely from that angle, where does it leave the conversation that the Constitution is a live document that needs to change with time based on the circumstances that are present to us on a day-to-day basis?
Thank you, Alan, for having us. I want you to look further at Article 204.
Yeah.
Why? What is the reason behind the drafters of this Constitution to come up with equalization fund? This was meant to address the imbalance between different parts of this country. And to appreciate that, it is clearly stipulated in that act that the Constitution appreciates that this country is at 2 levels of development. And for us to have a fair playground, that section which was left behind for ages must be supported financially to come at par with the developed part of this country. Coming from that background and appreciating that at the eve of independence, a similar document was passed. Appreciating the position the Vice President holds in society, he can easily influence policy. That is why we said things are not right here and things need to be corrected.
Okay, well, you've spoken about the equalization fund that was put in place to actually see some sort of equity when it comes to this conversation. But ever since 2014, 2015, I believe we've not seen any sort of progressive sort of moves in terms of making this fund actually work for the people. And this is so many years down the line. Would it not be the opportune time to now see to it that we have a conversation around this 1 man, 1 vote, 1 shilling that can actually see to it that even in as much as that fund is not working, the people still feel taken care of?
Thank you, Alan. Why are we where we are today? We are where we are today simply because of the sessional paper number 10 of 1965. This paper tore this country into 2 portions, a portion of high potential area and a portion of low potential area. They thought in investing in high potential area, they can feed the low potential area. We are marginalized today for all these years simply because of this single policy. If we will say today we'll have a round table where we can discuss 1 vote, one shilling, what will happen to the minorities of these countries? The essence of having a democracy is to respect, recognize the majority, and respect the minority. If we will use population as the only parameter in distribution of resources, we will further marginalize the marginalized areas of this country. This is our fear.
Okay. Ekwe, let me come to you now. Of course, in a turn of events, the Deputy President initially was against it. Some may argue that it was based on politics. Who knows? He knows best. But right now, he's changed tune and is actually supporting this formula. And we all know that the Deputy President hails from the mountain region. And one would ask, why would you believe that him presenting his case in some way perpetuates some sort of ethnic supremacy?
My approach would be to divorce this thing from the person, the office of the Deputy President. I think sentiments have been made. But this is, we are seeing this thing rearing its ugly head. From the time my colleague has talked about independence, the social paper number 10 of 1965. But you'll appreciate between 1963 and 1966, a number of constitutional amendments were made, which actually created an imperial presidency. And so in the biased policy of developing what was considered a high potential area, although I don't know whether even that narrative can work now. Because if you take into account the oil from Turkana, the wind power from Marsabit, the Lamu port, every county literally has a potential. So what we are saying is we cannot, we realize that policy is not working for the Republic. And that's why we went for a constitutional dispensation. And 67% of Kenyans on the 4th of August 2010 decided to vote for that want a new Kenya. In fact, if you look at the preamble, it's extremely clear the kind of Kenya we want.
Okay.
The UD administration is even more clearer on the kind of society they want through the better bottom-up transformative agenda.
Yeah.
So anything taking us to where we were running away from is like taking us back to Egypt when we have already crossed the Red Sea.
Well, the Deputy President has said that anybody who's against this formula should be treated as a traitor. What would you believe would be his real intention behind this? Because he comes from the very same Kenya Kwanza and UDA government that you're talking about. What would you believe would be his true intentions behind this?
I have not heard that one.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying again, let's divorce this thing from the Deputy President.
Okay.
We are talking about the conflict between centrifugal forces and the periphery. This is a contest, and this is why this is a debate. But this debate is not just one man, one vote, one shilling.
Yeah.
The debate is one man, is that one versus one man, one vote, 1 kilometer. So that's the debate. And I think what has happened is that we want this debate to come to the fore. So that we can actually argue what kind of country are we looking for? What kind of values and aspirations do state, those also are duty bound because of the leadership positions they occupy, are going to implement. And it should be easier for us. We are just pointing out what the Constitution provides for. And every person who swore by that Constitution is duty bound to implement it.
All right. Well, you've had the fast beat of that conversation right here. We want to take a short break right here on Punchline. But of course, the conversation goes on all our social media platforms. I'll be back in a short while.